If you're 50 years old in this country, in this continent, and you lose your job for any reason, you've only got, according to the Bureau of Statistics, one chance out of 25. It's 1 out of 25 of going back to work again. So if you're 54 and you never had a job, your statistical chances of getting a full-time job are zilch. And it's hard enough to find your girlfriend, so I don't consider him, and his sister says he's so different.
He's working, by the way.
Oh, is he working now? Oh, I didn't even know that. He got a job, did he?
Yeah.
No, that's almost the first time you've ever said anything about a client, and I've been talking to you about that guy for 10 years, and you've never really actually said anything. Anyway, making a long story short, nobody else knows what we're talking about. We've got this ADD. There's 11, 12 different kinds of things. We've got depression, suicidal thoughts. We've had Stephanie phone about Asperger's. We've had Karen on the line about Asperger's before. I have one more thing I want to ask you about. We started to at the end, and I got off that. That's a fellow who had a electrical shock and actually had his head opened up. The back of his head was actually burnt and opened because of the electrical shock.
Yes.
And he's not getting along well. He's having seizures and so on. Can you do something for that?
It's hard to know until we...
Is there something that you can't do anything for?
You need structure for function. So, I mean, if there's serious brain damage, then the question is, can you find other areas of the brain that will assume responsibility for
My
this?
understanding is this fellow has lots of good stuff going.
Okay. I would think...
So you can take...
There would be...
the damaged part, you can work around it.
That's correct.
Can I compare? I'm trying to figure out an answer for this. In a car engine, when you put it on the scope and the spark plug wire is burnt out, or my method in my motorhome is I get a dark spot, I open up the hood, run the engine, and I look for sparks on the wires. And that works just as good as a spoke, as a scope. You can't take that wire out of the person's inside of his head. But what you sort of do is like spaghetti wire around. You don't put a wire in, but you make another part of the brain take over that little function. Is that what you do sometimes?
That
happens,
that an
explanation?
And you get increased dendritic growth with
so it actually makes the things actually grow.
And you can lay down new pathways, basically.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at, Jeff. So you don't.
There are ways of doing that, you know, without neurotherapy. For example, if somebody has a bad left arm, what you do is you strap the good one.
Yes, I know that.
Okay, and they start to acquire some skill. Now, we do neurotherapy over that, the area associated with that, it makes it much more efficient.
And you do, that's the same thing they're using for the phantom leg thing, isn't it? Where you put a mirror up somehow and make, now you do the mirror thing or you do it there? That's,
no, brain.
But that's, the mirror thing is doing that without what you do, but you do the same thing through the brain.
That's right. And we use some adjunctive procedures like strapping. We strap from time to time.
What's your most interesting case? If I had to say, okay, what would be a situation that you are most proud of? You've been around for a long time. You're a couple years older than I am. You've got your, you've been to the top. You're there. What are you the most proud of?
Well, there are a couple that come to mind. Well, there's one in which the child was absolutely devastated. She had, you know, a form of ADD, and she had just gotten herself in very serious trouble in terms of you know, her school work, and everybody got down on her. And when she walked into my office, you know, she was a defeated child, 8 years old, okay? And clear what was going to happen to that child. 15 sessions later, incredible, you know. She went in front of a class of, she went to a new school and went in front of the class and played a solo on her violin. The mother said, 3 months ago, that would have been absolutely out of the question.
That's the kind of thing that Karen talked about when we did the program way back 10 years ago.
The other side of that dimension is an elderly woman who came in, and she was kind of brought in by the family as, this is the end of the road, and that was written all over the woman. And did a brain brain assessment on her, and she had one of these age-related declines that is reversible, or at least you can prevent the age-related decline. And we worked on it for a few sessions. She moved out.
Changed her will too, right?
I mean, it was remarkable. The sparkle came back into her eyes, and those are the kinds of things that stand out in your mind, and there are a lot of them. The nice thing about this is once you set the brain on the right track, then the brain kind of does the work for you. That's certainly true in a young child. If the child's having trouble reading and you help the child learn how to read and read efficiently, and they get turned on by reading, they start reading, developmental process kicks in, does our work for us.
They can figure it makes it happen.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I can remember before Mari treated Mitchell, who's sitting over there laughing his head off.
Still can't spell ancient.
Well, you can. Spell ancient.
No.
All right. He would spell ancient 7 different ways in a row. And he says he still can't spell ancient, but I think he can because you spelled it the last time I asked you. He couldn't spell. He could read anything. He could do anything. He could comprehend anything. Couldn't spell. And Peter, on the other hand, could spell anything. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Mississippi, you name it. But Gesundheit. But he couldn't comprehend. And Jane is still disappointed that nothing's wrong with her because she wants to get treated too.
The only thing that, if I can, may I speak about Jane?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, okay. The time she came in and she was running with the pencil in her
mouth?
mouth?
Yeah, so no, a toothbrush.
Okay.
Toothbrush. She jammed a toothbrush down her throat.
Yeah, she had a trauma marker.
She did. I remember you bringing that up.
Okay, and she had seen a movie before you took her to emergency. A few days before that happened, she had seen a movie in which a child died because of running with something in the mouth. And that was what the trauma was. And we released that trauma. So tell her that, she had a problem.
You still remember that?
Of course.
You still remember that, okay. Well, it's amazing because I think it's safe to say you're past retirement age, right?
A little bit.
You don't have to work, and you came out here, bought yourself a fishing boat, because you were going to live the life of Riley in BC. You and Rosemary came out, said, what are we doing in Ottawa and Boston? Went back, sold your houses, quit your job, and came out here to retire. And today you're overseeing a clinic with 14 people, massive overhead, doing public lectures. Why?
I love what I do. I mean, what else can I say? The worst thing in the world is for somebody to retire. If you want to kill yourself, retire.
And you'd rather do this than go fishing, right?
Well, I go fishing too.
But not as much as you intended to.
Well, I'm writing a book on how to age properly, and one of the chapters is 2 fish and you're dead.
Say that again?
2 fish and you're dead. Do you have any idea what that might mean?
2 fish and you're dead. You mean T-W-O fish?
T-W-O.
Oh,
if you caught 2, then...
2 fish and you're dead.
If you have enough time
to catch 2 fish.
What you're bothering living for.
I like that. I like that because I can't imagine doing